it's 9 p.m. After this time to English New Edition for tonight headlines, we have Prime Minister preside over the closing ceremony of the three editions of the Olympic Crafts. For the international scene, COVID-19 thanks to the COVAX systems, more free vaccines are arriving in Africa. Welcome to our newsroom. The head of state submit his candidacy files for the presidential elections of April 2021. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, through the intermediary of his campaign director Ahmed Ali Barre, on Wednesday officially handed over his candidacy file for the presidential elections of April 2021. In accordance with the legislation in force in our country, the candidacy file of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh was submitted in the two copies to the Minister of Interior, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, the authorities in charge of organizing elections in our country. It should be noted that the candidacy file of the president submitted by his campaign directors accompanied by his deputy Jama Mohammed Hassan meets the conditions for probable admissible. The submissions of candidates Guelleh's file came at the end of a series of political and popular demonstrations in favor of the continuations of the action of the head of state at the head of the country. It should be indeed be the recall that young people, the majority demographic components of our country, had expressed it on December 17, 2020, in an important gatherings at Guled Stadium in all regions of the interior, their attachment to the leadership of the President of the Republic. It is a first taste of the magical day. The first wedding salon opened these doors. This grand wedding salon, sponsored by the First Lady and President of the National Union of Djiboutian Women, Khadra Mahmoud Haid, took these quarters at the Kempeski Hotel. In the wedding salon, a major event that is the focus of professionals and general public who want to know the news and innovations in terms of reception, organization, and celebrations of various wedding ceremonies. Organized by Hawen Gary, a company specialized in wedding plannings and festivity. Upon her arrival, the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid was welcomed by the Minister of Women and Family, Mumina Ahmed Hassan, the two founders of Hawen Gary, Hadia Mohammed Jama and Rahma Abdullahi Bilal. The First Lady, once inside, made the towers of the different stands. All the panoply of the event sectors was there. A meeting where several high-range exhibitions, including hairdressers, makeup artists, jewelers, florists, traditional couturiers, and many others experts presented their latest trendy product, all concocted by small Djiboutian companies. In this file, all this in warm, exceptional and celebrationist atmospheres.
Kalintodi, Kamuda Manter, Waziro, Directrice, Libano, Mary, Lerajoy, Kasparai, Waku, Kalintodi, Kamuda Manter, Dotero, Sargalo. Femme d'affaires, joy in Kaspaday. adeeray kunjeer adiga duciyo ammaan koobsadee sharafta kaydsaniyo mama khadray karamada korkaaga saaran sido hooyo khadray karamada korkaaga saaran sido hooyo khadray karamada korkaaga saaran sido hooyo khadray karamada sido hooyo khadray waligaaba sido hooyo
marka lagu dage lagu gaadho darajada dhabtii isku duubni weeye dadkaygo garwaaqso dhaqan duugoobin iyo taariikh dahaba oo la doorbidan lenoho iyo dal nabadaho dalxiiskana ku habboone allownooda jabuuti amiin allownooda jabuuti amiin jibuuti dhaqan duugoobin iyo taariikh dahaba oo la doorbidan lenoho iyo dal nabadaho dalxiiskana ku habboone allownooda jabuuti amiin allownooda jabuuti amiin jibuuti.
This animated day in music with different troops was perfectly combined with the women. Once inside was placed a fashion show, a big fashion show presenting the high a day where the traditional grooms was the centerpiece, all to make women dream with the creations, all more incredible and spectacular one than the other. Richly decorated creations between traditional and modernity, thoroughly and deeply personalized. In other words, a true deconstructions of within with a modernized traditional resonance made in a spirit of modernity and innovation. The presence of the First Lady thus illustrates her unwavering support for ambitious Djiboutian girls. In a few words, inspired, encouraged women to reveal themselves and innovate. Undoubtedly, the First Lady Khadra Mahmoud Haid, providing her unwavering support to women, ensures that they become actors of economic growth and thus become role model for other women in the empowerment of women.
badal mudaniyo marwa aragsan islamalaysto hadaf midaysan adoo ka maagin malabka kaydsan muxubiya kalgacal miyaad la qaybsan badal mudaniyo marwa aragsan islamalaysto hadaf midaysan noqona midigiyo bidix muraadsan milkaha guurkiyo nolol maqaamsan noqona midigiyo bidix muraadsan milkaha guurkiyo nolol maqaamsan meel ka gaadho makaan bilicsan meel ka gaadho makaan bilicsan maktabiyo xigaal gacal lagu macsuumo mahad allaale laga masuudo mataanahan dhabtii jacaylku maalo yeesha magacsan.
On the third and last days of the Olympic craft, Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed honored with his presence the closing ceremony and proclamations of the competition, which took place at the People's Palace. The Prime Minister was welcomed by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training. Behind the footstep of the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, that of the Minister of Labor, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, the Minister of Communication, Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, the Minister of Housing, Mohamed Abdul Qadir, the Minister of Health, Mohamed Warsama Diriye, and the Minister of Energy, Yunus Ali Gadji, who conduct guided tours of the stands where the trade teams of different institutions have exhibited their works. The Prime Minister and officials have greatly appreciated the works that were exposed to them. They congratulated the business teams and encouraged them to give the best of themselves. The Minister of National Education, Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, said a few words to recall that the Olympics of Trade are in their third editions and that they are a great success. He stressed the importance of this competition, which gives the opportunity for public authorities but also companies to discover the talent and know-how of young learners in vocational fields. He especially emphasized the importance of vocational training, which is a breeding ground for employment for the country's youth. At the end of this brief intervention, the jury proclaimed the result of the 3 rounds editions of the Career Olympics. In order, the stadium training centers outperformed everyone's in the welding and automotive mechanics files, while the Obok Technical High Schools won in the carpentry discipline. The Tajura High School won the trophy in the sanitary installations, masonry and building electricity files, while the Gabot High School and the Stadium High School refined the cold and air conditioning files. The Industrial and Commercial High School took over electrotechnical sector, and the Gabot High School took over the computer maintenance sector. The Prime Minister delivered an important closing speech in which he stressed the importance of these competitions in the development of vocational training. He also paid tribute to the actions of the head of state, who has committed the vocational training in a path of reform that will open up in large measure the prospects for professional integrations of young Djiboutians. The 153 ordinary sessions of the Arab League Councils at ministerial level was held this Wednesday, March 3, 2021 at the headquarters of the Arab League. The session was chaired by the Deputy Chairman of the Qatari Council of Ministers, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Muhammad Abdurrahman Al-Thani. Our country was represented at this session by His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, spokesman of the government, accompanied by Muhammad Duhur Harsi, permanent representative to the Arab League, and his collaborator. The agenda of this session was composed of usual branches such as the reform of the Arab League, international terrorism, the means of the fight against terrorism, the latest development in the Arab region, especially the solidarity with Lebanon, Sudan, Somalia, and Comoros, the Palestinian issue, and the activations of the Arab Peace Initiative. The Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, Hassan Omar Mohammed, who is also the current chairman of the East African Standby Forces, received today, March 3, the contact visit of delegations of East Africa Standby Forces led by the Brigadier General Getachew Hifero Aisa, director of East FISEC, noted that this meeting was attended by the Chief General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. After the customary greetings, he presented the Eastern Africa Standby Force, which is a regional organization responsible for promoting peace and security in East Africa region. During the meeting, the minister and the ESF delegations had extensive discussions on peace and security issues within the East African region and beyond. A ceremony to receive a batch of equipment granted by the Japanese government was held yesterday afternoon within the technical base of Balbala of the Djiboutian Road Agency, ADR. This ceremony was attended by the Minister of Equipment Transport, Musa Mohamed Ahmed, the Ambassador of Japan to Djibouti, Atuska Omyo, the Director General of ADR, Mr. Subhani Saeed Ismail, and senior officials of the ADR. The other highlight of the ceremony was also the closing of training sessions for employees of the ADR on the modalities of the use of equipment. The objective of this training session was to strengthen the operational capacity of the ADR. The Director General of the Djiboutian Road Agency reiterated its gratitude and the most sincere thanks to the Japanese government that accompanies us in our quest to develop road infrastructure. The Ambassador of Japan to Djibouti, Atusko Omyo, for his part, said the objective of this training session was to strengthen the operational capacity of the EDR. The Minister of Equipment Transport, for his part, thanked the government of Japan for the capacity building for the ADR and urged the staff of the ADR to maintain and upkeep this equipment to good effect. As part of the ministerial tower in Dakhil, the three members of the government, namely the Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriye, the Minister of Commerce, Hassan Ahmed Ibrahim, and the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, participated in a meeting with the wise men of the Okar region. This consultation meeting took place in the presence of Prefect Adan Musa and The president of the regional council, Abdulrahman Yunus Arre, parliamentarian, other officials of this region, the member of the government, have therefore lent themselves to this exercise of consultation and dialogue, which recalls the very foundations of the policy of proximity and listening advocated by President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh. During the discussions, the wise men in turn expressed their gratitude to the ministerial delegation, which was asked to convey the satisfactions of the population of the region in the fulfillment of the promises made on health during the presidential tour. The minister, for his part, thanked the people of Dekhil for the warm and fraternal welcome they received. They highlighted the efforts that the government has undertaken to reduce poverty and improve the living environment of the people of Dekhil, particularly in the areas of health. They recalled the security prerogative of these towns at the crossroad of the borders between our countries, Somalia and Ethiopia. The Minister of Health, Muhammad Warsama Diriye, also thanked all the leaders of the region and the wise men of the villages for the exemplary welcome they received. The municipality of Balbala organized yesterday at the Al-Rahma complex a consultation meeting with leaders of the municipality of Balbala and the leadership of the campaign in support of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, for the upcoming presidential elections scheduled for April 4, for which the health state is a candidate. The session began with the readings of the Holy Quran and followed by the national anthem, a patriotic song, and dances, translations from different communities of the nations were at the menu of this colorful ceremony. This working meeting was chaired by the president of the Balbala municipality, Idris Bashir, assisted by his cabinet. This meeting was attended by the campaign director Ahmed Ali Barre and the deputy campaign director Jama Muhammad Hassan, the vice president of the municipality, parliamentarian and local elected officials. On his side, the campaign director, Mr. Ahmed Ali Barre, has indicated in his speech that the objectives of this consultation meeting is the support of the President of the Republic, Ismail Omar Guelleh, for the next presidential elections scheduled for April 4, for which the health state is a candidate. The Afar language between tradition and modernity. This is how the conference on the language to be started today with globalizations and technology. Afar language is resisting the ups and downs. Writers, researchers, and poets attended this conference to discuss their views. Important personality like Muhammad Hassan, Dr. Muhammad Hassan, and Muhammad Barkat Siraj, Fatuma Muhammad Abitu, and professor of the letters at Samara University. The objective of this conference is to promote the Afar languages and to enlarge. With this conference, Afar Pen closed the activities set up to celebrate the World Afar Language. As in the rest of the countries, the distribution and withdrawal of voter cards continues in the Artas region. In Artas city, Prefect Muhammad Sheikh Hassan visited the various offices of distributions of electoral cards in order to follow closely the procedure of distributions and withdrawal of cards. It was also an opportunity for the prefect and officials of the region to withdraw his electoral card while inviting voters among the population of this region to survive the example of the local authorities. After the city of Arta, the prefect Muhammad Sheikh Hassan also went this morning at the end of the morning to the elementary school of the locality of Duda, one of the points of the sub-prefecture of Damerjog, where the activities of withdrawal of voting card for the next presidential elections were taking place. Within the framework of the presidential elections of April 2021, the distributions of voter cards began this Sunday's March 28 in the regions of Dekhel. In this regard, the prefect of the region, Aden Darar Musa, visited the various counters of distribution of voter cards to control and observes the progress of the operations of distribution of voter cards. These distribution operations are also taking place in three sub-prefectures of the region, namely As'ila, Yoboki, and Mulud. Dekhil prefectures has also set up a mobile team for the distributions of electoral cards in remote areas of the region. The prefect of the region, Aden Darar Musa, accompanied by the president of the regional council on this occasion, is to collect their own cards and inform the public to come and collect their electoral cards and fulfill their duty of citizenship. The scene is heating up with the approach of the big sporting event expected in Djibouti on Friday, March 5, 2021. The international airport of Djibouti welcomed yesterday evening all the international and national athletes registered on the participation list at this first edition of International Half Marathon of Djibouti, with at the head the legendary British Mo Farah of Somali origins was welcomed on the tarmac of the airport by the representative of the authorities and port in free zone, Mohammed Aden Waberi, said John, the president of the Djiboutian Federation of Athletics, Mr. Saeed Ismail, the vice president of Mr. Umar Mhabe, and the president of the organizing committee of this competition, entitled Gateway to Africa. All the international and national athletes underwent the protests against COVID-19. Indeed, the Djiboutian athletes such as Moumin Gelle, winners of the last half marathon, and Moumin Bouh, as well as Ibrahim Ogas and others will test alongside the legendary athlete Mo Farah next Friday. We regret to announce the death of the late Roble Amir Amare, occurred Monday, February 27th in Djibouti. He was born in 1944 in Djibouti. The late Roble Amir recruited to the national police lives for France and more particularly in Lyon, became commissioners in 1975. In these painful circumstances, we address our condolence to the family of the deceased. We pray the most merciful to welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, after Ghana and Ivory Coast, other African countries received on Tuesdays are waiting on Wednesday their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine thanks to the World Health COVAX device. Nigeria, Kenya, Angola, Democratic Republic of Congo have in turn received Tuesday, March 2, their first dose of vaccines against COVID-19 funded by COVAX devices created by the World Health Organization for the benefit of the poorest countries. A flight carrying 3.94 million doses